Hey everyone, it is Dani'i and welcome to this video. And so I will be giving the updates on what is currently taking place as well as what to anticipate as you're going to be heading into this week. And if you haven't seen my previous video, I've started doing these countdown videos towards the start of the Atlantic hurricane season. So it's not necessarily going to be about the hurricane season, but it's really going to be giving updates on what is taking place in the Caribbean. And if there are any updates regarding the hurricane season, then I would incorporate that information into my videos. And so before I go into details with this update video, Alright, so first let us go over the other side of the world and take a stop in the Indian Ocean. So what is that right there? That is a significant cyclone that is headed to Madagascar. Its name is Emnati, and it is going to be bringing some very dangerous conditions. We're talking about that very life-threatening storm surge as a result of the inundation because of the winds pushing the ocean waters onshore. So coastal areas will likely experience inundation as a result of that. And then we also have the strong winds that are going to be accompanying the cyclone and the very heavy rainfall. So fortunately, though, as this thing here makes its way inland, we can expect that it's going to rapidly weaken because it is going to be cut off from its source of all of that heat and energy that it needs to maintain its intensity. So it's going to be cut off from that. However, that rainfall threat is still likely going to be looming. So landfall is possible sometime maybe on Tuesday. And as we progress further into this week, this thing here is going to be making its way out and back into the Indian Ocean. So hopefully everyone there is taking all the necessary precautions and staying safe. And so now let's go back into our Atlantic waters and talk about what is happening and what to expect for this week. Alright, and so first things first, we're taking a look at infrared satellites, and we're seeing that we don't have a whole lot going on in the Caribbean, but we do have quite a bit of moisture out in the Atlantic. We have a dissipating cold front, so nothing very major right now, and definitely no tropical cyclones or any hints of tropical cyclones. So in the Caribbean, we're seeing that we have some spots of moisture, we have some clouds that might bring along with them some showers, and we mainly see them across sections of Central America and in the Central Caribbean. So we do have some passing clouds for sure here in Jamaica, and this morning there was probably some rainfall in some of our southern parishes because quite a cluster of clouds are making their way over that section of the island. And it is also very, very windy right now thanks to a pressure gradient in our region. And so now let's go ahead and see what is going to be happening in terms of precipitation as we're going to be heading throughout this week. So we're taking a look at the GFS model and we're going to be seeing what it is going to be expecting, and then we're going to go on to the total precipitation amounts expected by our various models throughout this week. Alright, and so we're seeing that we have quite a bit going on. This map might be a little bit confusing, but we're mainly focusing on the areas where we are seeing the greens, and so we're also focusing on the Caribbean region. So we're seeing that we have quite a bit that is going on. So let's actually take a closer look at the Caribbean and see what is expected. So this is by Friday on the 25th of the month. So before, we're not necessarily anticipating anything major, maybe all that moisture coming in from the east that is going to be influencing rainfall, but we are seeing that we have a lot of precipitation just out in the Atlantic and in the vicinity of Trinidad and Tobago, as well as the northern section of South America. And so as we head to Saturday, we see that all of this precipitation is moving more to the west and bringing along with it rainfall just in that area where we're seeing those yellows and that red shade that indicates a lot more rainfall and possibly thunderstorms as well. And as we head to next Sunday, we're seeing quite a mess. So all of this diverse moisture across the Caribbean region here. And so because of this, the GFS is showing in its total accumulated precipitation prediction here that we will definitely see quite a bit. So we're seeing that we have the different colors that indicate different totals. So the greens going to that very dark blue shade really indicate just under an inch. As you head to the lighter blues, go into that lilac shade that indicates over an inch of rainfall. And then as we go to that burgundy shade, that is where we have up to about 6 inches of rainfall. Not a lot of areas are expected to be in that zone where we have so much rainfall because it is going to be mainly offshore, but we're seeing that most of the islands are going to be experiencing at least maybe an inch of rainfall, I'd say, except for most of Cuba and sections of the Yucatan Peninsula, but other areas such as in Central America and going down into portions of Trinidad and Tobago are going to be experiencing a lot more rainfall. And we're seeing the icon model showing something a little bit similar to this, but not exactly, where we see that it's mainly around Trinidad and Tobago, right there where we're expecting to see the most rainfall totals taking place. And remember guys, this map is long term. It is between now and Sunday, so it's not necessarily just a 1 or 2 day total map. And so next, let us go ahead and take a look at the dry air map for the region. And so we have the different colors here that indicate how much dry air is in abundance in the atmosphere. And so we have the yellows that indicate less. Meanwhile, we have the oranges going to the red shades that indicate more. And so we see that we have quite a bit that is blanketing most of the Caribbean region. So that is aiding in inhibiting a lot of rainfall activity. So whenever we have so much dry air, we have the prevention of convection development, which is in turn going to lead to less precipitation totals. So that is currently what's happening. And so now let's take a second to talk about the hurricane season that is upcoming. So there are no new changes. We don't have any new predictions as of right now. However, I will be giving my first prediction probably by the midweek of this week, and I will be stating how many storms I'm expecting and why, as well as current persistent conditions. But just to touch on that, here you're currently taking a look at a sea surface temperature anomaly map. And where you see the blues, that indicates lower than normal sea surface temperatures, whereas where we see the yellows going to the reds, that indicates warmer than normal sea surface temperatures. And so right in that blue region that you're seeing just off South America in the Pacific, that is what is called a La Nina. And so I'm going to be touching on this into a lot more details, as I said, when I'm going to be making my prediction video. And so guys, that is really it for this update video. So that's what's anticipated for this week in the Caribbean, mainly to the latter part of this week. We have or models, especially the GFS, really expecting that we will have quite an increase in precipitation across sections, mainly of the eastern and southeastern Caribbean. And so, of course, join me next week for my next update video like this, but by the middle of this week, I will be giving my first prediction for the 2022 Atlantic hurricane season. And so if you found this video to be quite informative, please give a thumbs up, and you can also share thoughts with me in the comments or ask a question. I will try to respond as best and as soon as I can, and remember to always be weatherwise.